Hi there, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm working on my Christmas markets shops panel from Susanna's Vintage Life panels that she has had available on her website. We did have a little bit of a discussion about it last week and she does still have some, so I think if you're interested in purchasing them, you'd better hurry up because I don't think that she will do a rerun. Anyway, I've had a couple of plays. So this week or last week that's just gone, I got some stitching done, and then I came to a screeching halt because I really didn't know what I wanted to do next. So anyway, I've had a bit of a think about it. So I've done some heavy stitching here around this with a pearl cotton and an embroidery thread, and I still intend to bead it. So hopefully that's something that you can see what I've done. Just using the pearl cotton, did little lazy daisy stitches and some little tiny weeny straight stitches. And then I did a little bit of straight stitches around each of the windows, these three. So yeah, there still needs to be beads put on them. Each of the windows I've couched thread around the window frames, couched thread around the building, couched around the awning, and I think that's it. Couched around the doors. I did do a little overcast stitch. With any of these things that I appliqued on, I did a little overcast stitch, tried to make it fairly invisible because the couch thread sometimes got on the edge and sometimes didn't, and I thought, no, they needed to be a bit more secure than that. So I haven't done any more resolving around this. But what was happening, because I'd cut it, oh sorry, I'll sit back down. Because I'd cut it from the other panel, this edge was starting to fray, so I needed to get something organised. I put a red trim around it, and after I finished it, I hated it. I thought, no, I don't want to do that. So I've pinned, and then took it all off. I pinned this just really a nothing, mostly little stars, some little bits of leaf trim, not anything in particular, but I felt that all of those bits and pieces all went together. So I was fairly confident that they would look all right. And now the next step is to sort of do, before I don't want to start beading because the threads get tangled up in it, and beading will be another day. So for this video, I thought this will probably be number 3, I think. And then the 4th one will be the finish. So that's all there'll be in it. But I wanted to do some of this sort of foreground, maybe a bit of trim around the edges, the corners. Something needs to happen here, something needs to happen here. That's where I got myself in a bit of a tangle because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And everything I looked for in amongst my fabrics was too big. It's, you know, the detail here is fine. I think that's where I just have to have smaller things. Even trying to find a Santa, I really would have liked a Santa, but they're all giant, you know, which look like, you know, one of those big blow-up things. So I've got this little button that I bought when we went to Ballarat, and I thought he might be all right. Take him out of the plastic just for a start. And he's just got a little thing to stitch him on with, but you know, he's still miniature. miniature or big. That was it. There wasn't anything in between. I have got all these little buttons. They were a Barb Smith design buttons from theodoracleve.com. I bought them at a quilt and craft show. Maybe not this year. Maybe I've had them for a little while. But they're wooden. And I thought, oh, sorry, that was a bit of a scratchy noise, wasn't it? But I thought, he's still too giant. But if I can bring him down in the foreground. So my plan is to have a tree here. And he might be okay, like right down here. In fact, he might actually be okay right down there. And if this little Santa goes over there. Anyway, they're all along with the beadings and the trimmings. For now, I want to concentrate on these areas here. And so I thought here I'm going to have a Christmas tree. I need some things here and probably another Christmas tree on this side of the panel here. Hopefully I'm where you can see. Cool. Can't find anything in my stash. Didn't want to just cut out a green triangular shape. Thought that would look a bit daggy. So decided to go down the path of paint my own. Don't have it, paint my own. So I first of all just kind of sketched a rough idea on some tracing paper and laid it out on the fabric. So I had a sense of size before I start painting it on a piece of fabric, and then, you know, it's too big or too small. And so I'm happy with that idea. I've just sketched it out vaguely in some iron out pen, and my intention will be, after I've painted it, to put a bit more detail in with a permanent marker. So yeah, so that's where I'm up to. In the process of all of that, I dropped my tray. Dropped my tray of Inktense blocks and I nearly had a heart attack. So I smashed up a couple of them. Lots of dust here. Too precious to sweep up, that's for sure. How annoying. Never mind. Not to worry. It is what it is. What's the saying? No point crying over spilt milk or broken crayons, because it's just not worth it. Move on. All right, still disappointing at the same time. Oh, lucky I washed that brush out. I was washing that brush out, or wetting it actually. Wasn't even washing it out. I was wetting it. Goodness, and it came out brown. All right, so I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you for tuning in. It's very exciting. I've nearly hit my 1,000 subscribers, so that's like totally exciting to me. I just can't even believe it's even happening. I thought I might show you around my studio, because this last week I was just in the mood to tidy up. It was just getting out of control. I couldn't find what I was looking for, which really started, that's what started it, was that I couldn't find something. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And it was just beginning to be that things were just getting put wherever. And that was annoying. Fairly annoying. So anyway, thought I might show you around. Not in this video. You should see the table. I had it beautiful. And now I've got every piece of Christmas fabric out that I own. I made another whopping mess. No, I haven't. I've only got a mess on my table. Haven't made another mess. It was the storage sort of areas that were starting to become a problem. Anyway, thank you. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much. It's very exciting to see those numbers grow, and they grow every day. It's, I'm always a bit stunned about it actually, that actually even happens. But anyway, it's doing it, so that's good. Very nice. I'll keep going. People like what I do. I'll keep doing it. All right, let's back to business here. I've just got this piece of calico that was used for something else. So my assumption is it's been washed. It was in my stash. It's not feeling like there's any resistance really of sizing, although in saying that I haven't really wet it because I wanted to try and keep those brush strokes, you know, that look a bit like pine needles rather than it going blobby. And the only way to do that with paint, I mean, I could have done it with pencil, I suppose. Too late, didn't think of that. I just tend to go straight for these blocks. And yet I have Inktense pencils as well, but I don't think to use them. Never mind. So, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is with the calico or the muslin, I'm not sure, it's called something different depending on where you come from, I think. Oh, there we go. That got a bit blobby, but that's all right. If it's brand new, it's got a sizing on it that almost stops any water soaking in at all. You know, it's almost it repels it. You can see it beading, where that's not happening here. It is sitting on the top, but it's not repelling it. But it's sitting on the top because I'm being really careful and using simply the point of this brush. It's a nice pointy one. This is a Pentel one. I've got a couple of cheap ones that I picked up from cheap shops that sell art supplies. Not so fussed. The point isn't nice and pointy, so, you know, I guess you get what you pay for sometimes. But, you know, it works the majority of the time. It's fine. But when I want the point, and I wanted it for this, yeah, no good. So I thought what I would do here is, number one, go over it with a permanent marker, a brown one, I thought, just to put some extra lines in it so that it looks nice and full and we don't lose any definition. But I also thought once it was on, I would stitch it. Oh, you know, with some stitching. I'm not going to stitch the whole thing. There'd be no point. I suppose I could, but I don't want to. I thought I might leave it how it is, but it's going to need some green in the middle here, simply because once it goes on, you know, I'll fussy cut it out and then applique it on like any other type of appliqued thing. I don't know that I want all this cream, you know, showing through, in particular in the middle here. So I'm just, what I might do, oh, got a bit of white in there, get that out. The dust of it everywhere. You know, just go in with watery paint here and make sure that I haven't got sort of too many whitish sort of spots. It'll be all right because, you know, look, it'll look like there's lights shining through it, but I don't want it to look like, you know, it's just painted on calico. That's kind of like not what I wanted to do. I've got lots of my videos include fabric painting. It just happens to be something I like to do, and painting is in my background. While not formally trained, I did study with a local artist for a while when I was much, much younger. And I didn't even have children. So there we go. That tells you how long ago that was. And all grandchildren are always even married. I wasn't even married. I wasn't doing anything. But it was in oils. And I would love to paint in oils. My oils really aren't usable. My oils. But, you know, it's just from having a go, really. Doing this, I fabric painted back when my kids were young. I'd paint on their wind shaders and had a little market stall where I sold them. They were quite popular in the day. And so yes, I do have a background in painting, but yeah, that's who I am. I'm just trying to get that not to be quite so red. It was a bit redder. See, they've all fallen out of sequence, and I don't know what colours were. And I tried to put them back, but that browny colour in the middle there's quite brown, quite red. Never mind. You probably should have something to stand on in a bucket or something. But I'll see what it looks like once I've stitched it on. And I mean, it's quite pale and I might need to go back over it. I'm thinking by comparison of this. But like I said, I do want to put some stitching into it as well. So I think it'll be all right. All right, I'm going to iron out those black marks. Oh, well, you're here. We're all here. I might as well do it together. The iron's on. And so if I hit it with the iron, that'll tell me. Oh, I think I nearly got them all. So that was good. All right, and here I've got a brown permanent pen. Hopefully. This is brown. Yeah. Good. So, oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Gosh, it's dark brown. But it's just to add that little bit of definition to it so that I can still see where the branches are, where some of the pine needles are. I think if I'm going to embroider it, I'm going to embroider it in a thread, not, like a stranded cotton, not a pearl thread, because I think it'll be too thick. All right, I'm going to put you on stop. I'm going to cut this out and get cracking on it, and then I'll come back, because otherwise the video will go on and on and on forever, and I've got a bit to do. Okay, so well, I've had a big afternoon of playing cutout, and I was struggling with what I really wanted to do with this panel, and so I just thought I'd show you where I'm kind of up to, because I've got a bit of work ahead of me. I had this panel, it was a piece of fabric that had some Christmas prints on them. So I just spent a bit of time. I've backed them with Flies Fix because I think that it needs to be protected. Lots of little bits. And my intention is now to stitch them around the edges. I've got some little drummer boys. I painted some Christmas trees that I'm going to stitch in a darker thread just to pull them in line with this green because I think it's a bit pale. I also added some bits and pieces around here. I've got a little pile of Christmas presents, some little candy cane windows. And so now my next job is to get stitching. But first I'm going to stitch the outside border on these bits here just with a running stitch. I'm going to stitch into the trees, and then I'm going to have another play with the layout because I really have just only cut them out and just, you know, having a bit of a play. I wanted to push the houses back, and I was hoping by having these bigger prints that I might be able to do that. So yeah, just wanted to share that little bit of goodness with you. I think I'm pretty happy with basically how it looks at the minute prior to stitching, so I'm gonna get on with that, and I'll come back when I've done a little bit more. I won't be doing embellishing as such, just getting the bits stitched down prior to doing the embellishment. So hope you're liking what I'm doing, and I'll catch you in a minute. Okay. Hello. So this is take 2. I just recorded a whole section, and when I looked up, it wasn't on the screen. I'm so sorry. So I've done a few bits and pieces without you. But what I was doing was these little stenciling bits. But prior to that, I'll just go back and explain what I have done. So I've ironed on all of these pieces. I've used Flies-A-Fix. It's not something that I always love using, but I've decided for this. I've got a very fine one. It's actually quite good to use. It's not too heavy. I had a bit here somewhere. If I show you, it's really, really, really fine, and the sticky part is even finer. So it's almost like this very fine mesh. No, it's not gonna. Of course, it's not gonna peel off at the minute. It normally does. I don't even know whether I can. No. Have a look around. There are very heavy sticky ones, and there are ones that aren't so sticky. Well, no, they're sticky, they're just not heavy, and so way easier to stitch through. Before I was lifting it up without any problem at all, and now it's almost like a fine cobweb, which is much more user-friendly. Will it show up on my scissors at all? It's just, yeah, very fine. Have a look around. All right, so anyway, I've done that on this corner here, this side. I haven't done the other side. I've got all my bits ready to go, but they're not laid out because it's too hard to handle. Swishing it around in front of your face. Good. The thing that I was doing that when I disappeared off screen were these little bits of stenciling. I'm happy to go back and add a bit more. I'll move it down and then I'll move it back up again because, oh gosh, how annoying was that? So what I did, just trying to find which part of the stencil that was, might have been there. Very frustrating. I've got a cotton bud because I only want little bits of this to actually, be on the fabric, and so I'm just using a cotton bud to go over it. I did some on my Alice panel. I didn't do it on my Christmas panel, but I did it on my Alice panel, but in blacks, and Then when we were on retreat with Corinne, she did it on her tags, which was really nice. Looked great. And I liked doing that as well. Just trying to see if I can find vaguely where I was so that I can just show you how I was doing it, really. How annoying. Almost the whole video was done with me off, and I thought, am I just going to apologise? And then I decided, nope, I'm going to make another bit of this video and just get rid of the other one. So yeah, I've done that bit there. That bit's a bit darker than it was because I've overdone it. There's a bit here. I might put another bit in there just because it looks quite good. A bit darker. Trying to find which bit I used. Yep, that looks like it. So these are Tim Holtz Distress Ink, and this one is Walnut Stain. Yeah, and just with a cotton bud. Actually, I think the first one was Vintage Photo, and now I've picked up this Walnut Stain one without thinking, and I think it's actually a bit better. It's darker. And you know, you can see the print a little bit better. Oh, I'm going to be terrified now. It happened to me once before early on when I was videoing, and I thought I had got way better at it than that, and then I see, I don't know, the last 15 minutes of my video was off center. Very, very annoying. All right. Maybe that's where it was. Good. All right. Well, I did ask how you all were, and I hope you're all good. We're all good here. We're all a bit tired. Well, only Paul and I, really. There's only two of us. We've been gardening every day and getting my vegetable garden ready to plant. So tomorrow is planting day, and today, yesterday and Friday we're getting the garden beds ready, getting the soil in, ready to plant. Yeah, and so we're all a bit tired. A bit tired today. Well, my hands hurt, you know, from just, let's try that, you know, from pulling out weeds. Even though I was wearing gloves, my fingers hurt. I'm not going to go over any further. You can see what I did, how I did it. The other bit that I did, which was probably more on screen than it was off screen, was that I started stitching these trees, but I have no idea how to edit. I'm hopeless at it. I try to sort of like get a bit of, gosh, I don't know what I did with my needle and all of that kerfuffle. It's gone. Gone. Of course it's gone. Yeah, I don't know how to edit. That's what I was trying to tell you. Just that really, that needle really has gone. It's done a disappearing act. Let's try another one. It was a nice needle too, which is a bit of a bother. Never mind. And so what I decided was that these Christmas trees needed a bit more, they needed a darker green. That's what they really needed. And I had originally painted them in that sort of foresty colour. And then once I went mad with the applique, they kind of disappeared. So that's 2 threads. And I'm just doing straight stitches. Oh, this needle's like very long with a little teeny tiny hole. Never mind. I'll have a look for that other needle in a minute because I'm only going to do a little bit more and then I'm going to say goodbye because this is just going to take forever. Okay, so what I'd started to do was, wouldn't it be good if it was just here? It was a great needle. Never mind. Just straight stitches, not following anything in particular other than aiming for between the paint lines. So here, where it's, where it's pale, putting in some straight stitches in those spots because the green paint can help fill in the other bits, and I'd be here, I think, forever if I was trying to stitch every pine needle, which isn't impossible, but I think I'm not going to. I'm just going to do some, have the green paint shine through the back and, see how I go. I often say I'm going to do one thing with embroidery and then I just end up keeping on going, and especially if I'm sitting on the couch at night watching a movie and I think I'll just keep going. I'll just keep stitching for a little bit longer. Gosh, I nearly forgot to look up again and check I was on the screen. Okay, so this is where I'm headed. They will eventually have decorations on them. They'll have probably some gold thread on them. One of the gold threads that I've just come across recently was again with Corinne at her retreat. Part of our kits had threads in it, and the gold thread that she gave us is great. It really is very easy to use. I'll show you. That's where I'm headed. Okay, the stitches are going to be quite plain, quite straight. Oh, there's the needle. God, yeah, hate that. Good grief. That, why on earth would it be stuck in the back? Who would know? That's just crazy. All right, I'm going to stick it in the front so I can see it. Stick that one in the front too because I can see it. With these bits, they've lies fixed down, and I'm just going to do a little overcast stitch to hang on, put them all down. I've done some little pieces of fabric here, made them look like presents, not really, a bit of doily, just because I thought that looked good. Just building up some texture, and have it part of the picture. But there's lots more beads and trim that have to go on, and that's going to be in my very last video because I'm going to call this one done for now. I'll just show you that gold thread, and then I will pack up, get it ready. Got my lovely little soft container that I made with all my threads in it. That's good to go. The gold thread is just here because I just had it, and so it's called, very shiny, diamond. Grande. It's a DMC one. It's great. It's really good to use. It doesn't shred so much in the needle, but you can also split it, you know, into, I don't know, I think it's 6 strands. So you can use 1, 2, 3, like you can stranded cotton. The stranded DMC metallic is not great. You know, it just shreds in the needle and it tangles, and this one was fabulous. I used it on the Christmas tags and they were great. All right, that's it. I'm going to whip you up a little bit higher. That would have been better, but anyway, you're nice and close. I'll take a photo there and put it on so you can see where I'm up to. I hope you're doing really well and having a lovely stitching day too. And I will catch you in the next video, which will be all of the applique finished and I'll be ready to bead. Okay, see you then. Bye for now.